2:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 17th, 2025. I'm going to be Director Brian Knight, San Andreas State Marshals, call sign 0495. To my left-hand side, we'll go introduce two other marshals that are also observing.
Marshal Jessica Springfield, 020.
Marshal James McAllister, 005.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and advise you of your rights for posterity's sake. At this time, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you by the state if one is available. Do you understand your rights as they've been read to you today?
Yes.
All right. Just for sake of recording, this is a more of an interview. There are no charges pending. The recording is simply for note taking. Could you state your full name there for me?
Yeah, before I do that, is wherever this is going, do judges have access to whatever I'm about to say in the reports that will be made?
No. San Andreas State Marshals, I made a decision a very long time ago to cut access to the majority of SASM reports, as we do have responsibility of oversight of government entities, so it would be backwards for them to have access.
Perfect. Clayton Jenkins, head of security for Mayor Denzel Wallace.
Okay. And what's your state ID?
6670.
Okay. All right. So I'll just kind of have you begin. I know we had a very brief conversation on the phone, something in regards to the DOJ. Just in terms of the format, feel free to, interrupt me at any point. I'm here to kind of listen to what you have, and I might ask some cursory questions. The two observing marshals here can chime in sort of at the end if they have any questions as well. So please go right ahead.
So first, to establish, some credibility to my claims, I will say that I'm just going to say this. I believe there is something big happened yesterday with Misha Standall and his gang. What's his gang? The Ravens, maybe? Something big yesterday probably happened with them. I'm not asking for you to tell me what that was, but I'm just saying that I have reason to believe from the conversations I heard that something big happened with them. I overheard a phone call at the city hall. People just be yapping. Was underneath the stairs-ish area, and somebody was standing on the little banister up there.
You mean where the stair, like on the first floor to second floor?
I kind of came in halfway through.
The first floor to second floor stairs?
The first floor to second floor stairs, yep.
Okay. This is where the stairs go up and then split.
Yes.
All right.
Walking in the back. The person could not see me because I was underneath them, but he was speaking loud enough for me to hear. Directly above. Between who I think he got elected. I don't know if he's an elected magistrate or a judge, but the former mayor, Michael Rizzo. So I heard what appeared to be, from the context, was being asked for information. Specifically, it seemed as if Misha, who he identified over the phone by saying Misha, went and looked up my MDT Misha's went and looked around for Misha's. And I heard the term Ravens. Remember Misha used to run a gang up north, and then he came down south. I don't know, maybe in the last year. But it was he was asking for blood because there was some sort of altercation between him and another group. And it what I heard was that something about blood. Misha wanted to know who the other group was because he didn't know. And it was broached during that phone conversation that Michael Roselle may be able to assist him in the matter, but he wouldn't call from his current phone. He would make the phone call on a different phone at a later point in time. So this Misha was requesting information from a report to find out who his enemies were that I'm assuming he probably shot or his friends shot to get some blood samples to find out like who these people were.
Might need to leave the room for a bit.
Mhm.
Door, please.
I'll let you out.
Thank you.
There you are.
Sorry,
Down
the
beside you there, Brian.
you're good. Could you say that last bit again? The coughing kind of threw me off a little bit.
The generalization was of the phone call from what I believed was Misha was requesting information about from Michael Roselle because there was some sort of altercation he had had recently with another group where they shot people, were not able to identify those people,
Yeah.
but he wanted to use whatever reports to get information about who his enemies were. I heard specifically something about blood samples. I heard something like you want blood samples to know who these people are.
Understood. With the inference that that is something that Michael Roselle would be able to provide.
Yes, I don't know what he would be able to do with that. I don't know what access he has as a judge, but he was being requested to somehow get the information about who his enemies were. And specifically, I heard something like blood samples.
How well do you know Misha?
Not very well. Not very well at all. I know he's involved. I know he used to run Chaos Legion. I've been out of town for a while. I understand I asked some questions. Understand he's in charge of like the Ravens now.
So, how well do you know his voice?
I would recognize his voice. Yeah.
So, you're saying and I want to make sure I have this accurately, because you said that you don't know him well, but you can recognize his voice.
Yeah, but I didn't hear his voice during this call. But I think I would.
Oh, you only
recognize
heard
him.
Michael's.
Yes, and Michael was
Okay, sorry,
saying things. He name dropped him. He
I
name dropped
see.
Misha. Yeah, and
I
I
see.
went
Okay.
through my MDT
I was under
profiles
the-
and typed in Misha.
Just for clarity, I was under the impression you were listening in on the phone call. I noticed you had a phone tapper on you when you walked in. So,
Oh no, as head of security, I use this thing to obviously just scan people to make sure they don't have guns on them.
I see. That's not a okay. I see what that is. Okay.
They look similar. Yeah.
There are a number of devices that have different electronics in the inside. Okay.
No, this is definitely a phone scanner. No, it's definitely a phone scanner.
Oh, it
I
is
make
a phone
people
scanner.
I make people think that I'm scanning them for weapons, but yeah, it's definitely a phone scanner.
So, just for clarity, you overheard Michael Roselle on the phone. You didn't tap into his phone with the phone scanner?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, am I correct in then saying, based on what you said, that you were listening into Michael Roselle on the stairs, on the first to second floor stairs of the courthouse, down by Davis, and in the conversation you overheard, you only heard Michael's side of it, but in that conversation, he referenced Misha. Is that
He
accurate?
referenced Misha, yes.
Okay.
And he was asking some questions here and there about, blood and whatnot. But he did name drop him for sure.
Look, if this is a matter serious enough, if you use the phone scanner, it's better that you tell me. I'm we're SASM. I don't. It's important that there are no facts that are hidden, and I'm going to tell you why. Right? And I'm not trying to accuse you here. I'm basing it on how just a lot of these interviews tend to go. Is someone will tell us 80% of the truth, but then 20% of the lie. But only they are aware of how much truth they are giving and how much they are withholding. But the moment us as investigators end up finding that there was some falsities or some white lies told, it sort of begins to discredit the testimony because we can't assert what percentage was truth and what percentage wasn't. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
So, and I'm not going to jam you up because over a phone tapping device. I'd rather know the truth so that I can do the proper necessary work. This one, I'm not going to use. We're not going to go over. We're not going to go after people for small shit when there's bigger problems taking place. You understand what I mean? So
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
rather directly, did you use a phone tapper?
Yes, I used the phone tap device listening on this conversation.
Okay.
However, he did mention his name as well.
Understood. And you could recognize Misha's voice on this phone call?
I could recognize his voice. If I heard it again, I definitely would hear it. I was going off of Misha. I asked some people who Misha was to find out he was
Radio check.
affiliated with this Ravens group. I remembered him from Chaos Legion. I thought it was Chaos Legion from a while back. That's how I knew of Misha back in the day.
Answer.
Understood. So you heard Misha's name in the phone call, right?
Yep.
And you're saying you can recognize Misha's voice.
If you called Misha and I listened in on that phone call, I would recognize that voice.
Okay. All right.
And specifically, the name was dropped as well.
There was reference to an encounter between this individual who we're calling Misha and another party, and they wanted Michael Rizal, who's a magistrate, to provide some of that information. And Michael Rizal said, "I'll call you back on a separate number." Is this accurate?
He made it seem like he would be looking into it for them to see what he could do, and he made it clear that he would call back, but not on his phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, fuck. I'm so fucking scuffed right
Okay.
And I will say later on.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Later on, I can give the approximate time as well. I wrote down the
This is
time
good.
actually. This is very important. At approximately 10:40 a.m. Central Standard Time this morning. At approximately 10:40 a.m. At approximately 10:55, I overheard the end of another phone call.
The initial phone call was when? Sorry.
I don't know when the call would have started. I was made aware of the call at around 10:40 a.m. Central Standard Time.
The first call with Misha and Michael was at 10:40.
Yep. As soon as I realized it was a very crazy phone call, I noted down the time because I was like, "Oh shoot, this is big. I knew immediately that I was going to do what I've been doing since I came to the city and snitch big time.
Okay.
It's probably recorded somewhere. I'm a really big snitch. I've done a lot of snitching in the past.
Okay. All right.
What I was getting at though, I might have been on that different phone. I barely caught the tail end of another phone call approximately 15 minutes later. Didn't get the exact time for that, but it was the same call between both individuals. And I barely heard the end of it. Didn't really get to hear anything of value at all. Just
Okay.
But I do know there were 2 phone calls made between those 2 within the 10, 20, 30-minute period of 10:40 AM to 11 AM Central Time.
Okay. All right. Anything else of note pertaining to this situation?
I do have one other person who was doing the exact same thing as I was doing. Full disclosure. The mayor was away. We were in the mayor's office. The mayor wasn't around to actually hear about this. He'd stepped away for a moment. But I pulled it out, and we were sipping on that tea very heavily. Another individual. I don't really know if I want to get him, and I would rather ask him if he'd be willing to speak. Before I straight up tell
I
you
understand.
that individual was here.
What was the relevance of this other situation? Was it relevant to this?
The second phone call, or what do you mean?
You said there's another individual and you were sipping the tea. Is that an unrelated, different incident that...
Oh, no. Remember how I was showing you that with the scanner, I would be using it to search for weapons?
Yes.
The context of how I even found the phone call was I was showing this other individual how I will be, doing my security measures. And I realized there was a phone call going on in the courthouse.
I see. So you're saying, okay, so there was a second party that was witness to you tapping in, is what you're saying.
Not only the witness to me tapping in, they had a device. They started tapping in too.
I see. So there's a second individual whom... Okay. I think it's better that I speak to them soon because, look, I'm going to be transparent with you, right? You are a civilian. And as a consequence of that, it becomes a he said, she said. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that we're going to sleep on this. But it is a matter of how the court system works, right? Is your word is inherently... Like, you could be making it up, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that you are. It's just that's...
Legally, I know.
Legally,
I'm a
right.
lawyer, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the other...
Have you
thought
thought about running for justice?
Actually, I keep joking to Denzel about, making me be his nomination, but kind of just joking around with him.
Have you approached LSPD?
No, I haven't. The only reason I go there is to fill their ATM up with cash.
Okay. Well, I'm
not really interested in that position. I'm happy with keeping Denzel safe, especially after he got kidnapped. We used to be in a gang together,
Yeah. I'm it's all jokes anyways. I think
yeah.
I think it's going to be a very competitive well, we can save that for later. Okay. Okay, so nothing else on the matter then, yeah?
I will say if their weight has any more, if their word has any more weight, the other person is a member of the mayoral cabinet that overheard it. I don't know if that has more weight in court than just a random civilian. So it is 2 civilians with clean criminal history that matters at all.
Okay, understood. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Unless there's anything else.
No, nothing.
All right. Fantastic. We're going to go ahead and end the recording here at 2:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for your time. All right. All right. Yeah, keep me informed. Just so you are aware, tapping into people's phones can get you arrested, possibly. It's a bit of a gray area.
Yeah, I knew it was a gray area. That's why I kind of came in like that. But I knew if I was pressed, I was gonna just tell you anyways, because it's really not. It's a rights violation because people have a right to privacy, but
It still makes it,
I know it makes it hard for you guys to.
well, it becomes